Adam Eaton, and is it recording started? Can we start again?
Yeah, we're starting now.
We're starting now.
I'll let it. Let's go ahead.
Okay.
Oh,
No,
one
you don't
take
even have to worry
trace.
about anything.
One take trace.
No, well, because it flashed up something, and I wasn't sure we were on, and so hey, everybody, we ran out of time during Sons of UCF Live to answer the mailbag questions, so we bring you this. What are we calling this? Sons of UCF Extra, or we overused that for the week, considering our special with Stephen Bronco.
I mean, isn't that what extra means?
Extra, it is. So if you didn't, be sure and watch Sons of UCF Live. It's on demand. Maddie Bejarano breaking some news that she'll be entering the transfer portal, and then an extended conversation with McKenzie Milton, all about the the big mission control event on June 17th. Do we get music in the extra, or this is just flat?
So I can do music, but let's talk out since you all here anyway. This is how we deal with some stuff as a show. Last week, I felt like there was some negativity towards the rock music. Do we want to try a different genre of music?
Negativity from who? From
in the chat. I saw some comments in the chat. So we've got some options here. So let's see here for Mike. Pick a number between 1 through 8, and that'll be our music.
1 through 8.
7.
All right, here we go.
Polka music. What is this? Is it like Yanni or something? Golly.
Making baby
driving.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's Spursy night.
No, Trace, hold on. That's not the way to do this. You need a deeper voice. Sons of UCF. Mailbag. Yes. There you go.
All right. Well, that's Spursy night. Wants our thoughts on the new stadium sponsorship. We talked a little bit off the top of the Sons of UCF Live about it, but I think the money's good, right? I don't know if it's going to change how people refer to the stadium. I hope that they feel, as an Orlando company, they're getting bang for their buck. It seems to me, with the housing market the way it is, mortgage business is shooting fish in a barrel. But welcome aboard for continued sponsorship, is what I say to them.
Yeah, long time coming. We've talked about this sponsorship deal for a while. We obviously saw a few other deals get nuked at the BOT, so getting one through is helpful. We got decent valuation, so that's a good thing. And look, obviously, this mortgage company feels like there's an investment to be had here. There's something they can gain from being on the stadium, or else they wouldn't plunk down 19.5. So it tells you a couple things. The brand is at least strong. There are people who want to invest in it, and we need to self-generate revenue. This is self-generated revenue. We're not going to sell enough beer throughout the entire stadium to fund, the new launch club tower. So we need something else. I'll take it. Call it whatever you want, by the way. You can call it, Bounce House, call it Bright House, call it the football stadium, call it whatever you want. But 19.5 in the pocket, I'll take that.
Mama named Clay. I'm going to call him Clay. I've never heard of FBC Mortgage before. So I'm sure there's a bunch of people like me who are just figuring out what this company is. And as the season goes on, the more people that walk into that stadium, 45,000 every week, is going to see that name up there. They'll get their values worth over the next few years.
Our friend Brian W. Peterson. Brian, thank you for the great review of the Sons of UCF 5-star review. He asks a very good question here. Some big boys up front for 2022. Does this powerful O-line benefit JRP or Mikey Keene locking up QB1? I.e. more time for Mikey to throw or bigger holes for JRP to run through?
Or C, all of the above. If you're a quarterback and you have large human beings in front of you that are knocking people over, that's a good thing no matter what your skill set is. Obviously, from a running perspective, I think what you have to understand is this a better pass blocking line or a better run blocking line? Let's hope it's a better run blocking line because, simply put, we know we have Bowser. We know we have a stable of running backs. So my hope is that this is a solid run blocking group. And obviously JRP would be a threat in that scenario. But C, all of the above, because big people knocking other people over is always a good thing when you're the quarterback.
Yeah, the run game sets up everything. And that's what Bowser is the main guy on this offense. Everything flows after that. So it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. If they're opening up running lanes for Bowser and we're slowing down the game and we're doing things the way we want to play it, either quarterback will be fine.
I agree with you. Either quarterback, fine. At UCF Knight _115, it wants to piggyback off that question. Do you think it benefits power running or speed slashing run style?
Well, I mean, if you heard McKenzie Milton in the live show already, he talked about Gus having a power running attack and that being something that he really liked from an offense. That's a staple from the Gus Malzahn system. I think you see a little bit of that flash and dash at times from Gus's offense, but at its core, he wants to run the football. He wants to pound the football. I think he'd be perfectly happy, with Bowser getting 4 or 5 yards of carry and moving the chain. So I think power is probably more where the offense would lean, but look for opportunities. I think, Gus looks for those chances to get playmakers involved, make somebody miss, make a big play. So I think you'll see that. But at its core, I think it's a power running team.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't forget about the speedsters. Johnny Richardson had a big year last year. He's going to have an even bigger one this year. So it's going to be a nice mix of both. Obviously, power comes first, but don't count out the smaller guys.
The second question from at UCF Knight _115. What's your early prediction on how baseball and softball will adapt to Big 12? I think as long on softball as you have Coach Cindy Ball Malone, I think they're well positioned. We saw how they competed against Oklahoma. Not arguably, really, the top team in the country. So I think softball is better positioned. We still got a ways to go to see if Greg Lovelady is, head coach going into the Big 12. I think it's a far more challenging situation for baseball.
Yeah, baseball, we can't get out of the American Conference right now. So I think we've got to shore up some things on that end. Softball, though, so the top 3 teams in the Big 12, Texas, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma, again, far and away everybody else. Texas, a pretty good team. UCF actually beat them, though. We got a seed over them this year. Oklahoma State won 46 games. We know Texas, Oklahoma are leaving at some point. So you'd think there would be better position if Coach Bear could keep the softball program moving in the right direction.
I'll quote Mr. T from Rocky 3 when I say, prediction, pain. It's going to be ugly for a couple years unless we get things moving. Softball's been good. Baseball, I'm not sure.
At Dan R. Cundiff asking, Coach Malzahn, has he ever used a 2-back set with success? He's asking us to imagine possibilities with Bowser and whoever else is paired with. I reached out. We had a previous guest sometime back on Suns Live, Jordan Hill. It covered Auburn. And we had him on, I think, right around the time Coach Malzahn was hired. And he reached out. He answered the question saying that he thinks the best example is probably 2013 when Auburn used fullback Jay Proche along with running back Trey Mason. That was Malzahn's first year as head coach. They made it to the national title game. Others that he reached out to that cover Auburn saying they're not really aware that he ever used it with much success. So that 2013 last example of it really working.
But I think Gus is an innovator from an offensive standpoint, right? And I think if there's a schematic advantage to be had, I feel like he would figure that out. Now, everybody has the core of what they do, right? They have their system, they have their plays, if you will. But I got to think if there's a schematic advantage, if he recognizes there's something that he can capitalize on, he's a smart enough coach. Chip Lindsey, smart enough offensive coach. I think they could figure it out. It hasn't been a hallmark, but if Gus finds lightning in a bottle, I think he'll figure out a way to capitalize. That seems to be what he kind of does best, is understands where you're weak and tries to take advantage of that.
Yeah, having 2 running backs is not a prerequisite for this offense. Don't forget, if Plumlee is the quarterback, that's like having a second running back there with the quarterback anyway. And how many times did we see Ryan O'Keefe on the jet sweep? He uses the receivers as running backs too. I don't see it as an issue at all.
Robert at 2 letters, 2 words asking about off-season now for JRP and Mikey Keene. Are they primarily working on the same play packages, or might the plays they're preparing for be different to match their natural skill sets? I mean, Coach Malzahn said to me at the Charge on Tour stop that they tweak and adapt the offense to the particular person, right? But it is an interesting question on Robert's part. What are they studying in this offseason?
I mean, I assume the playbook is the playbook, right? And they're studying what their role in that playbook would be. I think you can't just say, hey, Mikey, sorry, you're in, so let's take out all these 10 pages of runs for the quarterback. I think there's got to be, some consistency in terms of what you want them to run. Where I'm curious about is the other guy working on the thing that we all think he can't do? So is JRP just out there like throwing lasers in a garbage can right now because the knock on him is he has no arm? And is Mikey Keene out there just running through tackling dummies to try to prove he can run? Or are they getting better at what they're already really good at? I think that's what's interesting. I'm curious. They're not going to tell us, but I'm curious to see, are they working on that thing that we think there's a weakness on, or are they just continuing to hone their strengths? It
does bring up a good question when we have media availability with them in preseason camp. Basically the way you framed it. What did you work on?
Yeah.
Remember, Plumlee's biggest weakness was the way he said, green! I didn't hear it as much. Mikey had a better green.
Yeah, that's clearly what each of them will answer during the media availabilities. It's all about the way they say green. At UCF, Terry Mohajir recently shared he was working on a football series with Miami until their head coach killed the deal. I think he phrased it slightly differently than that. Given Miami plays other in-state Power 5 schools, what do we think? First of all, why is he ducking UCF? Always the case with UCF. There's no advantage for him in playing UCF. You lose that game, it does him no good.
Yeah, I mean, if I take off my UCF hat for a moment here, I mean, it's smart. That's the smart thing to do. There's no upside to playing us right now because if we beat them, I mean, that takes away the lure of Miami's back and we're going to dominate the state, right? That takes all of that shine away, and that's what Cristobal is doing right now. He's shining up the fanciest turd he has and making it look like he's building something. He's known as a recruiter. He's selling the vision of the program. They're dumping a ton of money in there on NAL deals. They're bringing back
$1 billion
guys.
Investor in the program.
So he can't go out and play a UCF and get whooped because that takes all the shine off of that. So this is not the least bit surprising news to me. I know we all took a victory lap on Twitter and said they're scared, and we went after Titan Kane and everybody on Twitter. But the reality is, if this was Gus Malzahn, if this was reversed, we'd probably be doing the same thing and saying, hey, let's hold our advantage right now. To me, it's smart, frankly, because there's no upside for him.
It's hard to say that the Miami is scared. They do have a lot of very tough out-of-conference opponents. No need to add one in-state that would hurt them recruiting-wise. If any team was scared, it was the Gators for the last 30 years until they finally signed that other deal with us just now. And they may be taking that one back now that the SEC is going to 9 conference games. Don't be surprised if Mohajir gets a phone call soon.
Yeah, that brings up an interesting possibility, Mike, that whether that series ever takes place. And now it's funny how when Danny White left, UCF fans wringing their hands about the scheduling and all the holes in the schedule. And now maybe the Big 12 goes to a 9-game schedule, much like these other conferences are doing. And now if you're Terry Mohajir, do you want that 9-game Big 12 schedule and the Gators and some of these other things that are lined up? Or do you want things to be just like Miami does, a little bit easier? So UCF's scheduling situation changes with a possible 9-game schedule.
Yeah, there's still talks right now. They may keep it at 8. They haven't decided what they're doing with the divisions yet. So I'm not sure that the Big 12 is going to go to 9 games.
I'll tell you what, the thing I don't like about it is it puts you on 4 home, 5 away. And I understand that it flips, but what if you're a good team, you're a really good team, and now you got an extra road game? I don't like that at all. I think it should be 8. But money, right? Money drives it.
Well, even if you have 4 conference games, you're going to have 4 out-of-conference home games most likely when you're in the Big 12, or at least 3. So you're still getting 7 home games.
Did you guys hear McKenzie Milton broke some news tonight? He doesn't have the bathrobe photo. He doesn't have the bathrobe photo. I think it's the breaking news story that we got from KZ tonight. Yeah.
He's having a baby boy about a month away.
Yeah.
He's looking forward to talking to Dante Culpepper. Anything else?
Obviously, listen, while we were recording with McKenzie, somehow he also hit send on an Instagram post announcing his retirement from football. Nice long post on there. We can obviously parse this out on future shows, but I mean, what he means to UCF, what he stands for, everything he did for the program, I don't know how to put it into words. He's the Mount Rushmore, right? He's top number 1 on the UCF Mount Rushmore.
Ooh.
I think he is. I know a lot of we are the older guys, and a lot of people say Dante, but Dante never won the big one, and Dante didn't win all of them in one season ever, too. So
yeah, but
he's also never been on the Sons of UCF, so that's a notch down on your candidacy there.
Boy, we've had so many discussions about Mount Rushmore and so many poll questions. I don't know about that one. It'd be hard for me to move Dante off tops.
I'll tell you what, look at their 2 games against Auburn. What's that?
Yeah, have either of you ever been to Mount Rushmore?
No, I haven't.
Ever been to Mount Rushmore? Has anybody ever been there?
I have.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
The game that haunts me from Dante was the game against Auburn, right? And if you go back and watch that game, he did not have a good game. And obviously McKenzie was a star in the game against Auburn for himself. So I think that's the tiebreaker.
Different eras, completely different eras on this. Nonetheless, it looks like they've got a good event set for June 7th. I mean, when you look at all of the talent lined up that's going to be there, a 2-hour event doesn't seem quite enough to meet and greet and talk with these guys and ask them questions. And this would have been a big event if all you had was Dante Culpepper.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. I'll be curious what the program looks like. How much time there is to interact. But I mean, we all said it with McKenzie. This will probably never happen again, right? You'll have all these people in the same room at the same time. So it is going to be one of those "where were you" moments if you're lucky enough and able to show up there at the Celeste Hotel June 17th, because I don't think it's going to happen every year. I don't suspect this is going to be an annual. Let's all get together and hang out and sign autographs.
Some of these other names too. Forget the quarterbacks. I mean, Shaquem Griffin, Gabriel Davis, Latavius Murphy. I mean, we got some big stars showing up to this thing. It's going to be a very cool event for everybody that goes.
As is a cool event for you to join us on Suns programming. Thank you for being with us on this special extra where we got through the mailbag questions, answered your questions. Be sure to check in on Two Nights Media and subscribe to the Suns YouTube channel for all of the content. Special extra with Stephen Bronca recapping the 2022 baseball season. You'll find the Suns episode 182 with Jawan Hamilton, and of course our Suns Live, always on demand with Maddie Bejarano and McKenzie Milton. We want to thank you for inviting us in to listen to all we had to say and share with you on these questions that you asked, and we appreciate you. For Adam and Mike, I'm Trace Strelko. Go Knights, everybody.
Charge on again.